Hello everyone and welcome to Sinful Gaming. I'm Dad Hammer and I hope you've all been doing well and staying safe. So, time to talk about some Lumineth releases. I'm a bit late to the party on this one, but just thought I'd put out my own opinions out there and you guys can tell me what you think of them as well. So, for me, I really like the new releases we got shown for the Lumineth. I'm really down for this army. I'm a buyer. I cannot wait to have these models. I can't wait for all this crud to be done so I can get these models. So, what did we get? Well, the first model on the left there is an Alarith Spirit of the Mountain. So, it's literally a living mountain avatar sort of creature, taking on the aspect of the bull, which is now a thing theming throughout this whole mountain aspect of the army. In many cultures around the world, ox, cattle and all that are revered as like mountain spirits and stuff like that, so it sort of fits in. And then we've got the Alarith Stone Guard, who are these hammer-wielding elves here. They're quite cool, and they're sort of an immovable sort of object unit is how they're described, though they've got no shield, so we'll see how that potentially plays out. We look back on my last video I did with some small predictions, and, well, did I not pick cows coming? No, I did not. However, I did pick a hammer unit, and I'm quite glad to see I was right on some things. There was no Tyrion. It does seem like multiple facets of the army potentially fight, so I don't know whether I'm right, but it does seem like there are sort of like 4 distinct factions within them, which is quite cool. And there was like a hidden little gem of a different sort of looking wizard in the army, so perhaps we are going the way of the 4 different spell laws. But anyway, there's been quite a bit of discussion on these new Lumineth releases, and that's sort of why I've held off doing this, because I didn't want to sort of get involved in any of that too much, although I sort of have my own views are pretty strong. I like the models, I don't care. I'm not going to change them. I don't care that they're not traditional high elves, even though I probably was looking forward to like traditional high elves. I was sort of hoping to go down that route, but they didn't. But I do like what I've been given instead. The thing I try to do with Age of Sigmar is always keep an open mind about what stuff might be, and like I'm a firm believer that like seeing these guys now, I don't think we're ever going to get like a generic plain army with a plain theme all throughout ever again. Like the only ones that are getting updated of old armies like that are things like Gloomspite and Chaos Warriors, which were already over the top, sort of marketable more than what your generic fantasy goblin or fantasy barbarian were, and things like Sylvaneth and Fire Slayers are like, they're not your generic dwarf. They're different. They're over the top in like their whole passion and all that. They're different. Sylvaneth obviously, a whole race of, we've got Ents and tree people in lots of different settings, but there's sort of a whole race of them, and they're like multitudes, and there's part elf to them, and quite cool, and there's nothing like Deepkin out there anyway. They're cool, and KO are like over the top steampunk, well, Aetherpunk, if you will. Anyway, so I don't think we're going to see any sort of generic theme throughout ever again. I just utterly don't. But that's not what we're here to talk about anyway. We're here to talk about these dudes, and a bit of speculation on what they might do. Well, this is obviously like our giant monster, and as pointed out, Ben Johnson does love a good monster mash army, so there's got to be some way that you can fit 6 of those giant cow people in the army. And I mean, come on, who doesn't want to do that? I'm going to be shouting all those cow memes all day, every day of, don't have a cow, man, and other lots and lots of terrible ones. I won't make you listen to terrible dad jokes. This hammer unit is quite cool. It's turning out to be quite a big release. We've seen an elite unit now. We've seen 3 basic units. Elite unit, a monster character. We've seen a wizard. We've seen obviously Teclis himself. I've now seen a different sort of wizardy character in some of the pictures, the army shots. You might have seen it on the Lumineth Facebook group. And we've also seen the Light of Eltharion. So really, I'm quite happy with what we've got here. Like, I don't mind the helmets at all on the big stone guard. I think it's quite cool. I like the idea of the hammers. Like the giant blunt hammers is cool. people do like to scream out like, "Oh, that's not a Warhammer. It's unrealistic." I'm like, when a hammer's that big, it does damage. You don't need a spike 3 armor to do damage. If one of those hammers hits your helmet, you're going to die of some bleeding to the brain, or that giant Alarith Spirit of the Mountain thing. If that hammer hits you, you go squish and pop. So yeah, I do like that we're seeing banners in units. Like, banners in units is a cool thing. It's not something we really get to see much of anymore in newer releases, so I'm quite happy there's a banner there. A really nice looking banner at that. I like the posing of the champion. He's nice with his 2 hammers sort of pointing his unit forward, and the actual motion of like the hammers in the actual unit is really nice as well. I like how they're all winding up for swings, whether that be overhead, one of them sort of holding back, getting ready to start the swing, one of them sort of mid-swing coming from behind. I quite like the unit. There does look like potential for them to maybe be a dual kit. Does seem like those hammer ends are sort of attached, because one of them's slightly wonky. I'm not sure if that's the photo angles or anything, but there could be potential for them to be a dual kit with something, which is interesting, because obviously the helmets will come off. But yeah, you can sort of see on that, especially the second one in, it just looks like the hammer isn't quite straight, which could mean to be that there's a part there that's potentially interchangeable. And as for the Spirit of the Mountain, he's just a really cool one. I like the whole imposing sort of presence he gives to the battlefield. It's quite a cool look. And yeah, but that's all from me for now. I want to hear what you think of the Lumineth Realm Lords, and let me know. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel, and I'll chat to you all very soon.